Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name
Ah,
is Shirley
tema mío.
Johana Vergara Padilla, and I live I live Pueblo Nuevo Magdalena. Today, I'm going to talk about inclusive education. Uh, the first, I'm going to show the agenda. This is my presentation. Topic: inclusive education. Uh, what that means? What is the role of the special education teacher? Inclusive classroom strategies used by the teacher, advocates of inclusive education, and finally, conclusion. The objective, the topic is determine the importance of inclusion education and educative systems, and know the role of special education teachers in the classroom. Inclusive education, what that means? According to Bill, Cure, Ormosan, and Valenti 2010, and Querini and GATT 2012, inclusive education is when all students, regardless of any challenges they may have, are placed in age-appropriate general education classes that are in their own neighborhood SQ to receive high-quality instruction, intervention, and support that enable them to meet success in the core curriculum. Inclusive education is when all students are in the same classroom, in the same school. It means real learning opportunities for groups who have been excluded. Uh, Our schools must give response to diversity. Okay, continue. According to the role of the teacher in inclusive education, according to the U.S. National Center for Education Statistics, the adoption of inclusive education strategies where special education is immersed in the classroom with typically developing peers has increased rapidly in recent decades. More than 60% of students with disabilities spend at least 80% of their school day in general education classrooms. The role of the special education teacher is crucial to the success of a combined learning environment in several areas. For example, curriculum design. It is important to special education teachers design activities considering the disabilities of the students. They must implement activities that include visual instruction, manipulated tasks, and the use of technology resources. Classroom instruction. The teachers must implement activities or instructions according to the needs of the students, and inclusive classroom should be monitored all the time, and it is recommended that paraprofessionals or therapists are present in the classroom who assist the students in order to maintain in a positive climate. Learning assessment. It is important that the special education teacher evaluate the progress of the students. It will determine the achievement of academic goals. Also, the evaluation serves to determine self-confidence and independence in their education of the students. And finally, advocating for students. Special education teachers serve as advocates for students with disabilities and special needs. They promote the importance of inclusion and how can implement inclusion in an all campus activities in official schools. The next, advocates of inclusive education. Today, there are many entities that advocate inclusive education in the world. For example, UNICEF. UNICEF is the major entity that promotes inclusive education. This is considered advocacy and ensuring inclusive education in all schools. UNICEF is part of the educative system which assists and monitors inclusive education. It also provides technical assistance to the government in the implementation of materials and resources that help to close the gap of discrimination in education and increase the capacity of education systems to take inclusive education as a more effective educational practice. And finally, conclusion is, children with disabilities are often overlooked in policy making, limiting their access to education and their ability to participate in social, economy, and political life. Worldwide, these children are among the most likely to be out of school. They face persistent barriers to education stemming from discrimination, stigma, and the routine failure of decision makers to incorporate disability in school service. Inclusive education allows students of all backgrounds to learn and grow side by side to the benefits of all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shirley. Okay, guys, now we will start with a question. Okay, Maribel. You can start with your question, Maribel.
Teacher, me
If you want, teacher,
ya. Era que estaba desactivado el audio.
Okay.
What do you do when have a student with inclusive education and you now this process?
Sorry, partner, could you repeat?
Okay, what do you do when a student with inclusive education and you don't know this process?
Okay. I couldn't you understand? I think that this inclusive education in this process is really important. It's really important today. It is important that teachers have the strategies, have techniques in the classroom. It is important that special education teachers have innovative activities, that allow the student allow participate in the classroom, neither in any activities I think the disability in the classroom is not barrier. It's not barrier for your learning, for your learning process. This is my answer. partner.
Okay.
Thank you, Shirley. Now, Erika.
Okay, Shirley. My question is, how you think it will be an inclusive activity?
Okay, an inclusive activity could be materials in visual instruction, clear activities in which the student can develop different activities related with your environment, activities related with your partners, with your teachers, with your family. It is important. It is important that as teachers, uh, we implement activities that promote or proving encourage in the students activities in which they can uh, develop cognitive and physical development. Yeah, this is my point.
Okay, finally, Dalila. Dalila here, and she's frozen. Can you hear us, Dalila?
Poquito, teacher. Okay, so what do you think about including inclusive education as a course in the academic curriculum?
Oh, uh, interesting question, partner. It is important. It is important include a new educative system related with the curriculum. Uh, as a teacher, uh, I think that the teacher and the general educative of the school, in this case, is necessary that the school and the teacher implement and design curriculum related with disabilities of the students. Today we not cannot we cannot limited the learning of the students. The diversity in the school is definitely it is important that the teacher, that the school exploring the learning, the cognitive attitude of the students in the classroom.
Thank you very much, Shirley. Okay, guys. Shirley, about your presentation, I think it has very good visuals. It is so well organized that I almost felt that this was like an presentation, an official presentation. It was very well put together. So on that way, I think it was a very good job. I think you have a very interesting, a very extensive research on the topic, and it reflected on your presentation. I think you had like a very organized division of the topic, and you consider all the issues or aspects that we should take into consideration. Maybe there was a little too much text in your slides at some parts. I think that for those cases, it will be better, for example, in the case of statistics, it will be better to include a graphic or a chart, something that is more eye-catching, more interesting, and that reduce the amount of text that you have on the presentation, because the idea is that the slides, they won't talk for you. You are the one they are directing this presentation. So the idea is that you are the one providing the argumentation and not only the slide. Okay, that's my only advice, to reduce the amount of text in your presentation. In general terms, I think that you have a very good domain of this topic, that is inclusive education. I think that your partners also did a very good job on the questions. I like the way in which you had these dynamics, reflecting about how important it is to include, as Dalila mentioned, to include inclusive education in our curriculum. And you show a very good appropriation of the topic. So I think it was a very good job, Shirley. You did a very good presentation. Hey guys, let's finish with this recording.